Hello, goodbye, and hello again. Welcome back to Drifter Carbon and to another Minecraft texture pack review. Today we're taking a look at Flareful by CubeCraft Games. These are the guys that made a few popular texture packs, like the Mizuno Craft texture pack was also them. It's 660 Minecraft coins and it was about 6 megabytes, so not too huge and not too expensive. The description says, this beautiful and colorful texture pack will enhance your experience. Change the way you see your worlds forever. Supports 1.21.50, the Garden Awakens update. Incredible pixel art style, bright and clean designs, cute mobs, amazing paintings, pretty biomes, UI overhaul, insane nether and end, and comes with 6 epic skins. So they're advertising that they have a nice UI. So we will definitely be checking out the UI once we get into the review world. But also interested to see how insane the nether and end will be, since they're specifically pointing those out. This does have avatars, so we will skins. You know, we'll come down here and look at these. Yeah, these are pretty cute. There you go. I don't use skins very often, and when I do, I tend to go for more, you know, fantastical ones, but those are cute. So, all right, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, I show off all the textures and then I kind of give my final thoughts. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Alrighty, here we are in the texture pack review world. Let's go ahead and set off a firework real quick. There you go. That's what those look like. Here's throwing a snowball and a wind charge. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. All right, let's start by looking at things that grow. These are some cute little baby trees. Kind of going for that chunky, you know, large pixel art. But, you know, cute mushrooms too. Some happy little jack-o'-lanterns and carved pumpkins. There's all the various other crops. And the flowers. We have a wither rose in the background now as well. Added that recently. So some of this stuff is a little bit too new for this pack, but most things should be here. Looking at the trees as I go by. Fly up a little bit. And this was updated for the Garden Awakens pack, so or update, so we can look at these things. There you go. All looking good so far. Here's giant mushrooms. Here's logs and planks. As you can see, there's you know, some repeated textures on the logs, but they're good. They're, you know, kind of simple, but they look like trees. Here's the planks. Looks like we've got a couple of different designs here, a couple of ones that are a little bit different from each other. Does not look like there's variations on the planks. Here's dirt, sand, gravel, and moss. Variations are when there's more than one texture per block. But this packet doesn't appear to do that. But the various dirt types and whatnot look good. Here's the suspicious sand and suspicious sand and suspicious gravel. You can tell when it's suspicious. The gravel is a little bit harder. You'd have to know what to look for. There's your sandstone. The stone and stuff. Yeah, not the stone and stuff aren't terribly exciting, but they, you know, it's stone. Yeah, Yeah, no variations on stone either. Here's polished stone. Cobblestones. I think most of this is pretty readable so far. Bricks. You can tell what most things are. Stone, bricks, blocks, etc. Yep. And here's the glass. Pretty easy to see through the glass. They didn't obstruct it too much. Wool. Nice woolly wool. Concrete powder has a nice texture to it. Concrete. The regular terracotta and the glazed terracotta. There you go. Some recognizable designs, but some that are more original. Nice. Here's the ore. You can definitely tell where the ore are. I feel like this is very readable, very usable ore. Nether ore, deep slate ore. Same thing, you know, they did a good job of making the ores pop. Amethyst has kind of a different shape to it than usual. That's fun to see. Random lonely magma block is animated. Sponges. You can definitely tell the difference between wet and dry. Here's your light sources. There's your bulbs. Only one jack-o'-lantern. Only one version of those, but it's cute, like I said before. Miscellaneous light sources. Look nice. Here's signs. Nice and readable signs. No complaints here. Good signs. Nice and easy to... easier than usual, actually, because they've got this bold font going on. Oh, that reminds me. Let me look at the UI real quick. This is a nice UI, actually. This was one of the things that drew me to this pack. I've kind of had this pack on my radar for a while, but it's in the Marketplace Pass as of the time of recording this. So that's cool. Yeah, it allowed me to review it without buying it first, but very nice UI. Here's the hanging signs. Monster spawner, fences and gates, dried kelp block, diamond, lapis, gold, emerald, redstone blocks. These are nice. Just enough detail to them, just enough design going on. Iron block, raw copper, gold, and iron. There's the lodestone, the prismarine, the slime block, the honey, hay bale, bone block. Here's our quartz. Interesting approach to the quartz. They kind of did something different with those. It doesn't just look like carved marble this time. They kind of have a little bit different style there. Fits the style of the rest of the pack. The copper. Various copper things. A ladder. Let's look at doors. It's all custom. Got lots of windows on a lot of the doors. Love to see it. Those are some good doors, I would say. Yeah, like they're recognizable as the door that they are. You know, they're going for they're trying to make things easy to tell what they would be in the default texture pack. Here's trapdoors. These look good. Bookcases, etc. Only one kind of bookcase back there. Open the lectern here for the book design. That's what that looks like. The enchanting table looks cute. The beds, there's only one kind of bed. Yeah, I mean it's a nice enough design, but only one pattern on each of the bedspreads. They're just different colors. Didn't do anything too wild with the beds. Here's crafting tables and villager job tables. These all look good, easy to identify, but they're Nice pixel art. No animation on the block cutter. That's kind of unusual. Most people have some sort of spinning saw. Here's your furnaces. Anvils and grindstones. You can definitely tell very easily how damaged your anvil is. Very nice. Here's your cauldrons. There's lava and a potion. They do have a little animation to them. You can tell which chest is trapped. I like the ender chest though. Barrel, jukebox, and note block. The empty armor stand has kind of a fun design to it. It's got X's for eyes. That's kind of fun. I love when they add a little flare. Funnily enough, you know, like the titular flare to the armor stands, the beacon, the bell, because most people don't do anything special with the bell. I mean, with the armor stand, with the bell, with the armor stand, iron bars. Here's the paintings. Let's look at all of these because they're all custom. Here we go. Yeah. Some cute pixel art. And they've got little frames. Very nice. I like it. I like it. There's kind of one repeating texture here. But other than that, everything. Oh, there's actually a couple of ones. So there's a couple fewer textures here than most packs, but what's there is nice. The rails, you can tell which ones are special rails. Pretty easily identifiable. Mine carts, things in mine carts. There's the TNT. Here's the sheep in a mine cart. Redstone stuff. There you go. There's the pottery. Cool. Nice. There's a good level of detail on the pots themselves. Scaffolding, banners. Here's boats. Those are fine. Here's tough. The trial spawner and the vault look very similar to each other. But the vault does open its mouth when you get close to it. So it is animated. Here's your resin. On various things. There's a target. This is the heads, the mob heads. There you go. And the dragon egg. Okay. So I think that they did a good job with the blocks. Like, everything's nice and readable. You can tell what most of it's supposed to be. I have no complaints with the blocks. I think that this would be a pretty usable pack. Let's go ahead and jump on back. All right, let's look at some armor and the weapons. So it does look like there's a couple of different designs on the swords here. But the armor, yeah, I mean, these are fine. Not terribly exciting, but I think this gets the job done on the armor. There's the elytra. There's a shield. Various other things. The bow and the mace. Let's look at armor trims. These are amethyst armor trims on iron armor. Here we go. They are custom. I think these work pretty good on the armor. Yeah, there you go. Not bad. So, items, starting with weapons and tools. Ooh, these do look nice. I like that there's at least a few different designs. Like the wood tools are different, and the netherite tools are different, and the rest are pretty similar to each other. I guess the iron is slightly different too. So there's a few different designs within each tool, which is always nice to see. Makes it feel more different when you get a tool upgrade, and they look okay in the hand. There's the compass, or the respawn compass, and the regular compass. Nice smooth animations on those. The horns. Horse armor kind of has a different perspective to it a little bit. It's like at an angle. The potions look nice as well. There are different bottle types. Here's seeds and foods. These are cute. Yeah, I think they did a good job with the item icons here. Music discs. Things in buckets. Minerals. There you go. Various miscellaneous other things. And some of the newer stuff. And there's the skulk things as well. All right. So I think that they did a good job with the icons. This is definitely one of it's all very readable, and I feel like this serves the pack well. I have nobody's losing points on the items today. They did a good job with the items. Let's fly over this way. Here's what a bench or a couch would look like. Here's what a water cooler would look like. There's a nether portal. We will go through that later. Let's look at the mobs. I still have mobs named from last time, but the name tags aren't going to affect anything this time. But it looks like are these guys custom? No. Okay, it looks like this is another pack that is being negatively affected by Minecraft issues. This is a Minecraft issue that they're having right now, where some of the like farm animals just show up as default. But there's the bee. That's what the bees look like. Pigs are not custom either. That's a Minecraft problem. Sheep. Sheep have like their eyes closed. I guess all the mobs do. It's like, I guess this is a stylistic choice, but hello, Enderman. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Here's the wolves. They have nice textures to them, but I feel like we're losing some personality on the mobs. Here's the polar bear. The ocelot. The cat. Yep, everything is pretty identifiable, but I mean, obviously you can tell that a cat looks like a cat. I just mean they didn't do anything crazy with the mobs so far, but here's the mushroom. Giant mushrooms on the mushroom. The bat. Is that bat even custom? I guess so. The parrots. There you go. The parrots at least have their normal eyes. They don't have their eyes closed. Here's the rabbits. the llamas. And the horses. And the horses in horse armor. Oh, that horse is kind of animating funnily today. Kind of jittery. They're all a little jittery. I wonder if that's something to do with the pack or what. The donkey and the mule. Not the most exciting mobs so far, but they have a nice enough style to them. Other than the eyes. Let's Skeleton and zombie horse. Bony zombie horse. Tropical fish. There you go. That's what the tropical fish look like. Here's the cod. You can barely see the eyes on the cod. Puffer fish. Jump on in here with the puffer fish. Did they even have faces? I guess they do. They're just very like low contrast faces on the mobs. But that's what the puffer fish look like at various stages of puffiness. Salmon. Yes, I pronounced it that way on purpose. Here is the dolphin. Hold on, get closer to the dolphin. There you go. Sea turtle. Panda. I feel like the like expressions on the mobs kind of give them less detail and less personality. We're coming right off of a pack that had a lot of personality on the mobs' faces. So here's the fox. And those are cute enough. The creeper. Or creepers, I should say. I spawned in some extra creepers last time. The Endermen. I'm going to have to fly out here and find some Endermen. I did spawn in some more of them recently. Stay put. Don't move. There you go. That's what the Enderman looks like. Pretty standard Endermen. The silverfish. Skeleton. Decent enough bony boys. Wither skeleton. Here's the stray. Face over this way, stray. There you go. The slime. Helps to have a more than one of the mobs so that you're more likely to have one actually facing you at any given time. Spider and cave spider. Look very similar to each other. One's just slightly darker than the other. Here's zombies. And the bogged. And the husk. I'm going to fly over here and hopefully catch the face of the husk. There you go. Get in here with the drowned. And the squid and glow squid. Interesting. They've got kind of fun mouths. That's what they look like. There's just bonus squids back here for packs that have variants, but they're all gonna just look the same in this pack. Here's the witch. Kind of a villager style witch there. Guardian and Elder Guardian. Nothing too out of the ordinary with those guys. Spawning an Endermite. Here's the Magma Cube. Oh, the Magma Cube has a different design today. That's nice at least. Has more style to it. The Strider. You can see what the Strider looks like in and out of the lava there. The Zoglin, zombified Hoglin. Nice and zombie-y. Zombie Piglin and Zombie Piglin Brute. Here's the goats. The Axolotl. There you go. That's what they look like. The Allay. Yeah, you know. They have a different wings. The frog. I probably should have spawned in more than one frog when I was spawning in extra mobs, because sometimes the frog is underwater. That can be problematic. Here's the wandering trader and their llamas. There you go. Got a couple of them in there at the moment. The camel. Yeah, not the most exciting mobs, but you know, they're going for a similar to vanilla style, but with their own little flair to it. There's the blaze and the ghast. We'll get a better look at the ghast here in a little while. Shulker, Vindicator, and Evoker. Pretty standard looking dudes there. Didn't change their designs too much. Look at the villagers. How many villager faces are there? Just the one? Just the one. Just with their usual accessories. And the zombie villagers. Phantom. Pillagers. Hold on, face over this way, guys. There you go. That's the pillagers and the ravager. Pretty standard ravager. The iron golem and the damaged iron golem. There you go. That's what they look like. You can tell how damaged the iron golem is. Here's the snow golem and snow golem with its pumpkin carved off. The sniffer. Cute enough sniffer. Nice level of detail. Armadillo. And the warden. Come on, get over here. Look at him from the front. If he'll stay put long enough. There you go. That's the warden. Here is the breeze. And the wither. Cool, cool. And last but not least, the creaking. Always nice to have a custom creaking. And they kind of have more detail going on than usual. There you go. I mean, there's a couple of mobs that had something interesting going on with them. Not the most exciting mobs I've ever seen, but you know. All right, let's go check out the Nether. All right, this is the end. I'm sorry, not the end. This is the Nether, which was one of the things that they advertised as a selling point for this pack was the insane Nether. We will see how insane it is. Here's the Hoglin. Fly so I can move around easier. There you go. Yeah, nice level of detail on the Hoglin. You can see their roundedness. The respawn anchor. Here's the piglins. We do have more than one piglin design. Always nice to see. Some packs just have one piglin, and that's always a little disappointing. But like all the other mobs, they're kind of expressionless. Lose a lot of you know, I don't know. They just I'm not overly fond of that choice to have all the mobs have their eyes closed and just have low contrast faces. Here's the ghast without the cage in the way. We will fly out this way towards another biome. Lots of fog, so we are seeing some of the fog that this pack has. Does make it a little bit harder to see things, but I guess that can be a plus or a minus depending on the situation. Here's another biome in the forest biome in the Nether. Yeah, I mean they did a good job with the Nether trees and stuff, so not too shabby. Not really sure I'd call this insane necessarily. The lava's kind of nice, I guess. It just sort of moves along at a diagonal, but I don't know. The Nether was all right. Let's go check out the stronghold below in the end. All right. Here we are in the stronghold below template world. If you'd like to create a world very similar to this one, with a stronghold right about here. When you're creating a new world, next to where you would input a custom seed, there's a button for templates, and this one is called Stronghold Below. As you can see, it's nighttime. This is what the night sky and the moon look like. I've changed this to where this world is at not like midnight by default, so that we can see things a little easier. There's no custom cold or cold pig or cold cow. Those are just the default versions of those. Let's look around. Here's what a villager house looks like. I think these look fine. I have no complaints about that. I've said that too many times this video. That's the last time I'm going to say that this video. That feels like damning with false praise. No, I think these look good. The villager houses look good. Here's spider webs. This is a abandoned village here. And over here is a ruined portal. You can see what the crying obsidian looks like next to the regular obsidian in a portal. Good, good. Fly over this way and jump down into the stronghold. Yep. There's a iron golem again. Here's the frozen water, since that's the texture I didn't show off in the other pack. And it looks like the ice and the frozen water, there's a couple of textures here actually. Okay. So you got some differences there. Let's jump on in. But I think overall the overworld looks pretty good. Here's a stronghold. Yep. Let me... Now, there's no special animations in this pack, so I don't really need to eat the pie. That's what a bottle of enchanting looks like. Let's drink a potion of strength so we can see more of the swirlies. There you go. That's what they look like. Goat horn, pretty standard stuff. Reloading the crossbow, since that's an animation. And I think we are good to activate the portal. Go in here and there we go. Yeah, pretty basic end portal, not terribly exciting. Let's see how insane the end is, since that was the selling point. Just a black void. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty standard, honestly. Not terribly insane. Here's an end crystal, and we'll look at the Ender Dragon. Oh, that's kind of a, you know, the Ender Dragon has some nice color to it, and a little bit more flair. Like, you know, this is the Flareful pack, right? So you would hope that some of the things had some flair to it. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this pack? So I think that the blocks are very readable and usable, and they look nice, and it's very easy to identify what everything is. So that's one of the biggest selling points of a pack, right? Because if the pack is difficult to use, then it doesn't matter how pretty it is, because you're gonna spend too much time being like, what's this thing I'm looking at, you know, that sort of thing. So they definitely get some points for that. The blocks were probably the strongest point of the whole pack. The items, I thought that they had nice pixel art and were, again, easily identifiable. You know, there were no readability issues with the items. You could tell what everything was supposed to be. So yeah, I was impressed by those. There's the mobs. which I was not as impressed by the mobs. They were a little bit boring and kind of expressionless, most of them. Like they're going for a, you know, different vibe, I guess. But it didn't really jump out at me as being flareful, you know? Like, if you're going to name your pack Flareful, the mob should have something wild about them, something that really pops and jumps out at you, and I didn't really feel that that was here with this one. But you know, I mean, the artwork on the mobs was fine. They look good despite the kind of bland faces. The UI I felt was one of the better aspects of the pack because you know, it's nice and easy to see what's highlighted, and you got your nice little border on the items on your bar, and just the overall design of the UI was nice. I'm trying to be more detailed with my, you know, final thoughts section. So I took notes this time. I'm gonna try and take notes from now on. And as far as like the nether and the end goes, they're you know, they're fine, they're usable, but they didn't really jump out at me as being insane. Like the pack bothered to use one of their few selling point details to call the end and the nether insane, but they're pretty standard, honestly. So I don't think they're getting extra points for that. So I would still say that overall, I'm going to give this pack a 4.5 because I felt like the readability and usability of everything was extremely high, and just the overall aesthetic of the blocks and the items and so forth was very nice. I did feel like the pack was held back a little bit by the mobs. I felt they could have been more expressive and more flareful, if you will. But you know, I feel overall this is a very, you know, I feel like it's worth the money because it's only 660 Minecraft coins, and the file size was pretty small too. So, you know, I feel like you get some bang for your buck with this pack, despite the mobs maybe not being as exciting as I would have liked. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And, you know, share it with a friend if you think there's somebody that would get a kick out of seeing this. So thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share. Drift Your Car was filmed in front of an undead studio.